One of the discussions was about the lens we looked at through the ACEs through and the medical model and the social model. And my feeling about that is that ACEs Support Hub has got the lid of the jigsaw puzzle box. And around the outside of the box, you get the straight edges, and that's what the structure provides us with, is those boundaries.
Knowing about adverse childhood experiences has meant that we can incorporate it into Public Health Wales' mental health strand of thinking about prevention and planning and joining up with other services. So it's been a really important strand to that work.
There are some gaps in terms of how messages are communicated. Let's talk about policy makers, policy influencers and shapers. There's a need to have a very open conversation and being comfortable saying, look, the way we've designed this policy means it's going to take a while before it comes to fruition. To bear with and come along the journey with us.
We need to perhaps now develop the learning on ACEs to include a wider perspective, with poverty, growing up perhaps with low expectation, growing up with prejudice. We need to see how that relates and what are the interactions with adverse childhood experiences. And also the classification. Originally, when Felitti drew up his categories, there were probably categories that we can add now that didn't exist then. So they haven't been the subject of study, but they probably should be, such as, growing up with a disability, loss of a parent, being the object of cyberbullying, that sort of thing. So circumstances outside of the home as well.
We know some of the elements that go to form the puzzle now, and the ACE Support Hub can provide us with that lid and the straight edges, so we can see what the overall model looks like. But how it looks, the final picture, is going to be very much dependent on that we have all those pieces together and we can bring them together collaboratively.
It would be good to get the whole of the public sector in Wales to the same place, really, on understanding the importance of a trauma-informed approach and how we can respond to that. So that would be ACEs, but also wider than ACEs, things that happen later in life. So right through to loneliness and isolation in teenage years and old age.
It's about focusing on the long term, because if you're going to break cycles don't break in what, sort of overnight. It does take time. So let's start having a very different conversation and talking about focusing on the outcomes as opposed to the outputs.
There is probably quite a journey to go on, really, but I think that there's certainly a commitment from many that they want to do this together, so in a joined up way. There is a real appetite to begin that journey for all the public services.